this is my last little sales pitch about Crushendo. We're coming up on the hour. In addition to the audio outlines, audio flashcards, all that jazz, hundreds of proprietary mnemonics, we have 2,000 plus official NCBE practice questions. So the NCBE is the company that writes the uniform bar exam, which has been adopted in 30 plus states. Texas just jumped on the bandwagon. New York jumped on a few years ago. Ohio is jumping on the bandwagon. And so more and more states are using the uniform bar exam, and we rewrite our materials to the uniform bar exam to help students, and we use official real practice questions. So like we've already got the essay questions from the February bar, and within a month or two we'll have the actual essay questions from the July bar in all those states. And so our students get lifetime access to all that. They get the actual bar grader point sheets so they can see exactly what the bar graders are seeing, in terms of concepts that need to be covered in any of the essays. They're getting legitimate MBE questions, which are the multiple choice questions. And actually every single state and jurisdiction in the United States, with the exception of Louisiana, and I think Puerto Rico, uses the MBE as part of their exams. So like even in California, they use the MBE. And so we get a lot of customers from California that will just buy our MBE products to get the actual MBE questions and to practice the MBE content and memorize that with their audio outlines. We also give the written outlines. We actually recommend that people read along the first time they listen through, just to make sure they're hearing everything clearly, and also the structuring of the written outline can help you with your retention. We give everybody a 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. You don't have to give us a reason. Thankfully, we don't get a lot of refund requests, but we know this is a different approach, to memorizing content. And law students are risk averse. Like there's not a lot of us that are just natural early adopters, right? And so we understand that, and we're accommodating that. And so you can try all our stuff, any of it, all of it, for 30 days for free and just see how it feels. And then, I mentioned we have professors vetting our stuff, so you're not just relying on, this young punk like me who recently graduated from law school. And then you get lifetime access. And so we actually sell our full-on bar prep and release it immediately when people buy it to 1Ls, 2Ls. And we've even sold, product to 0Ls. And so, if you contrast that to other bar prep courses, you usually pay a heavy, a multi-$100 deposit, and then a few months before the exam, you actually get the product. And so this is a way that you can get the product, benefit from the product. And if you ask people who've gone to law school, they all say, man, like I wish I had done some bar prep earlier on, because it really would have helped me on finals. And I know a lot of times people go, as students, just kind of naively, it's easy to think like, oh, I don't want to worry about bar prep right now. It's just going to stress me out. I'm not going to think about it. But in actuality, like doing some bar prep, not stressing about the bar. Definitely don't stress about passing the bar. But using the bar prep type materials will help you significantly in your preparation. So, a lot of people have said some great things about Crushendo, which we've been very grateful for. We did get a really big complaint that I'm flashing on the screen here. This is a couple months after our full launch last May, and they were just annoyed that they hadn't heard of Crushendo sooner, which was super nice of them. This is like my favorite email, because it was both a complaint and like one of the biggest compliments. Sometimes people are worried about using bar prep early on, because your professor might focus on particular nuances or have hobby keys, if you will, that they gravitate toward. But the way I look at it, Crushendo, while it's written to help you on the bar exam, it covers the nuts and bolts of all your bar related courses. And if you get those nuts and bolts, that 80 to 85, maybe even 90% of core black letter law for a course early on in the semester, in the first 2 weeks, you just nail it. You go on some hikes, you listen to our contracts audio, for 10 hours straight one day, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I got contracts top to bottom, the nuts and bolts, I got the black letter law. Then the rest of your semester, I mean, you're just listening intently to your professor, paying attention to the little nuances that might not be in the more, general bar audio, which isn't going to have all the majority and minority rules and things like that. But you can capture that more readily, and you can recognize it for what it is, because you already have the fundamentals knocked out of the park.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.